What's up? Good morning. Welcome to a Saturday edition of Morning Scone. Glad to have you here. Zach Hess started for Team USA last night. He shined. We'll talk about that. Nikki Fargas, the LSU women's basketball coach. Her contract was supposed to be extended but has not been. And since this has kind of become a popular thing, as I take your questions every day here on Morning Scone, y'all keep peppering me with football questions. So maybe I'll just add like a football Q&A on this thing every day near the end or throughout. So fire away with your LSU football questions. We'll get to that. Drew is awake and should be in here shortly for all those who missed him yesterday while I did Morning Scone while driving. And you will not have to wait long because he is stomping and stamping his way into here right now. Let me begin, of course, by, as always, reminding you about our friends over at Boudreaux's. And Drew is on the other side of the camera, so he'll be here in a sec. Boudreaux's Bloody Mary Mix, Margarita Mix. It is 4th of July weekend, so if y'all are going to be partying by the pool, get some family going up to the lake, Lake Rosemound this weekend, if that's you, go see our friends at the Alexander's, Calvin's, Calandro's, Mid-City Wine and Craft. If you're down at home, go to Canada's, pick up some Boudreaux's, and enjoy. Just shake, pour, and sip, and drink, and you're ready to roll. So, all right, let's get into it. Hey, good morning, Eric. Good morning, Kelly Davis. Dale, good morning. Matthew Booth, good morning. Appreciate y'all for being here, as always. Appreciate everybody who hits the share button as well. It's very helpful. You're going to come say hi? Okay, before we even get... You missed everybody yesterday, huh? Hey, come see. Big Block. Daddy will come turn Big Block on for you in a little while. You want to come say hi to everybody? Nope, he doesn't. He's just sitting over there looking at the camera on the other side. Okay, so Zach Hess last night got the start for Team USA, collegiate national team. You've got Hess, Cabrera, Watson, Duplantis, who's obviously not playing. Paul Maneri's coaching the team, and former Tiger Trent Forshag as well is there. Excuse me. Hess got the start, and 4 pitchers combined to limit Chinese Taipei to 1 run. As a matter of fact, Hess pitched the first 2 innings, struck out 1, gave up no hits, so he got the start. And then a parade of relievers followed, a couple of innings each. And then in the 9th inning, Stanford's Jack Little gave up a run, but then bounced back and got him out. So I guess the question that a lot of people have about Hess is, does he continue as a starter? He seems like he wants to do that. I asked Paul Maneri that after the season. His answer was absolutely. And now you're seeing with Team USA, Hess is still going through starter workouts. The thing that I like about Hess playing at Team USA instead of, say, going up to the Cape or another collegiate league, he threw a lot of innings this year. And it was the first time that he'd extended in his college career as a starter. So I like the fact that Hess is going out there throwing 2 innings and then taking some time off. While he's going through a starter routine, the workload is going to be more like a reliever's workload. So I like him. Take your summer and get right. Hey, you want to say hi?
Baba.
Baba what?
Mama.
You want Daddy to hold you? What? Okay, what, baby? Uh-oh. What did you...
Uh-oh.
You want Daddy's hat? Daddy wear the hat? Does Juby wear the hat? You want Daddy wear the hat? Okay. What, baby? Hey, can you tell me what you want? Oh, okay. You want to sit on Daddy's lap? Okay, that's sweet. Look, I'm going to show you Drew.
Mama.
Mama. You're going to see Mama tomorrow. Clap hands for Mama. Laurel's his cousin. He loves Laurel. Clap hands for Laurel comes home. Yeah, hey, look, is that Drew on the screen? Hey, do you want to talk about Nikki Fargas, the basketball coach? So, we'll tell everybody about Nikki Fargas. Mama. Clap hands for Mama. Clap hands for Laurel comes home. I love you. Okay, do you want to go watch Daniel Tiger? Clap hands for Laurel comes home. Laurel will be alone. Hey, why don't you go watch Daniel Tiger? Uh-oh. Okay, I'll see you later. All right, see you later. Take care. He just ran into the wall and went, uh-oh. And now he's crying because he ran into the wall. Doug, good morning. Christian Frugier, good morning. Those PJs. Daniel Guidry, good morning. He ran into the wall, so he's fussing. Hey, it's okay, baby. Come see me. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay, baby. It's okay. He ran into the wall. It's okay. It's okay. All right, so let's tell these nice people about Nikki Fargas, and then we'll talk about. Oops, we are scrolling down, and then we'll talk about some football stuff. So a lot of people seemed kind of interested whenever it was in. Okay. Hey, why don't you go watch Daniel Tiger, and then Daddy is gonna put on Big Block. Okay, Daniel Tiger, and then Big Block. Okay. Don't run into the wall. Okay, good. Whew. Val, good morning. Tyler Jensu. Hey Val, I think I saw you're coming to the beer tour, right? Fired up about it. By the way, today's the day for our magical beer tour. We're leaving at 10 a.m. from Tin Roof, so T minus 2 hours and 43 minutes from Tin Roof in Baton Rouge, heading down to NOLA on a bus. I got about 50 people that are going to be on the bus with us. We're going to hit Wayward Owl, Port Orleans, Urban South, NOLA, and drink some craft brew, get some good food, enjoy a day, out and about. So I'll tell you what, if you're a straggler, I think we have like maybe 4 spots left on the bus. If you're a straggler and you really desperately want to come and you just found out today you can, go buy your ticket at Eventbrite. It's pinned on my profile and on my Twitter page as well. Hey, real quick, good morning, Bernard. Good morning, Randy. So Nikki Fargas, it was announced that she was going to get a 3-year contract extension. It was put on the Board of Supervisors' agenda, and then it was not discussed yesterday at the board meeting. So some people are going, what's up with that? There is this sentiment that Nikki Fargas making $700,000 a year, you having not advanced past the first round of the NCAA tournament in 4 or 5 seasons. There's some people that couldn't understand why she was getting extended. I put it to you this way. Don't look so much at the years, because you can't be a lame duck coach. You can't go recruit as a lame duck coach. We talked about this before. Like, you know this in football. Like, you can't go recruit if you got 1 year left on your contract. That's why even like in Mississippi, where a max contract is, I think, 4 or 5 years, every year, like for state or Ole Miss, they'll roll over a year at the end of the contract, just so that way you could say, hey, look, he'll be there for the entire length of the time that you're in school. So similarly, I'd say with Nikki Fargas, like the years I don't think is as significant as the buyout and the money. And what was reported initially was that she wasn't going to get a raise, and I think the buyout is around $200K. So anyway, my point is, like, if you're LSU, you want to remain competitive, like, you've got to extend your coaches, but you got to build in protections for yourself within those contracts. So Lance, that's. Hey, what do you want, buddy? Hey, what do you want? More what, baby? Tell me what you want. You want add dad? You want more Daniel? Big Block. You want more Big Block? Okay, come on. Can y'all? I tell you what. I'll bring y'all with me. I'll bring y'all with me while we do Big Block. Hold on. Okay, let's go do Big Block. He wants Big Block sing song. I don't want y'all to sit there and wait while I do this. Okay, so Lance said, Nikki's done nothing to warrant an extension or raise. Well, I'll put it to you this way. If you're not going to fire her, then you can't have, sorry, it's dark. Erica's still sleeping. The things I do. If you're not going to fire her, hey, Rick, good morning, dude. If you're not going to fire her or move on, then you've got to give her an extension, because you can't have her out recruiting with 1 year left on her contract. Then she's recruiting with an arm tied behind her back, because every other school is going to say to potential recruits, why are you going to go play for her? She's only got 1 year left on her contract. She's probably not going to be there. So you've got to extend her contract if you're going to keep her. So I have no problem with them extending her contract. Provided they do. The thing is, they just have to build in provisions if they're going to, like, if they plan on moving on. Like, if they were giving her a massive raise and, no buyout, like, then you'd have a problem. But something that would appear anyway to be, he loves Big Block sing song. That would appear to be, like, just for those purposes, so you're not putting yourself at a competitive disadvantage recruiting, then I have no problem with it. I think so many people saw the okay, he loves Big Block sing song. Y'all know that? Big Block sing song? Crazy. Stupid stuff. Anyway. So anyway, so don't, like I would say, don't be focused so much on. I'm setting up my shot again here. So I'd say don't be so much focused on. How about that? Is that look good? Good? We still rolling? Hope so. All right. I think we're still going. Y'all, give me a thumbs up if y'all are still good. We're back here in the office now. So anyway, so my point is, well, don't be so focused on the fact that they're giving her an extension. Like, you have to do that. Like, you've got to do that for your coaches to be able to go recruit and all that stuff. Okay, let's see. Y'all fire away with questions. We can talk. We can talk some football. They had the caravan stop in New Orleans earlier this week, and Ed Ogeron, Dave Aranda, Steve Ensminger, Mickey Joseph all talked a lot about the upcoming season. So we can get into some of that. Robert Williams said, Matt, you can't recruit anyway. Maybe, but it goes back to my point, though, Robert. Like, then move on. But if you're not going to keep her around, then move on. But you went to the tournament this past year, and if you're not going to move on, then you've got to build in protections for her to be able to recruit. So I understand your point. And that program certainly is not what it was 10 years ago. And I don't think anybody would deny that. She got off to a really good start, and it just hasn't been the same. So I don't have a super strong feeling one way or the other. I'm just trying to explain, like, the reason you give her the extension is absolutely for recruiting purposes. So if you don't want, then fire her and move on. But I don't think Joe Lee was going to do that. He hired her, and he's going to give the coaches he hired every opportunity to succeed. So that's what it is. That is the longest I think we've ever talked about women's basketball on Morning Scone. By the way, I just noticed this is episode 95. We're 5 episodes away from 100. It's pretty cool, man. Like, having done this 95 consecutive days. So, and I appreciate all of you who continue to watch. All right, let's get to some of your questions here. Corey says, LSU's defense, looking at projected starters, second string looks better than most team starters. Has LSU regained depth? Good morning, Matt. Happy Saturday. Corey, in a big way they have, man. I think he's back. Are you watching Big Block and you're so happy? Are you so happy you're watching Big Block? Mama. Okay, you want more clap hands. So, I'm sorry, y'all. Clap hands for Laurel comes home. Laurel plays clap hands for Juby alone. All right, now go watch Big Block. Go see Big Block. He's going again. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Corey, so I don't know if I said this yesterday on AFR or on Morning Scone, but for me, I think, like, the biggest reason why, if I'm going to be optimistic about this football season, the biggest reason is because I think that defensive front seven is going to be disgustingly good. I think Rashard Lawrence, Ed Alexander, Braden Fehoko as your starters on the defensive line. Tyler Shelvin is a backup on the interior. And then other guys who you've recruited and played, big guys like Glenn Logan. You've got depth on that line, and then you've got, like, a freak show like Caleb on Chasson who looks like he's ready to break out. And then opposite him, whoever it may be, if it's Andre Anthony, if he can stay healthy, or Trevez Moore, who looks so good in the spring, or some of these other young guys that they've recruited. At linebacker, whereas remember a few years ago, that whole thing about how LSU had more place kickers on the roster than linebackers? Well, now you've got probably the best linebacker in the country in Devin White, who's going to make every single tackle in the middle. And you've got Tyler Taylor, Patrick Queen, Jacob Phillips, all three of whom you feel really good about. And then you've still got a guy like Michael Divinity hanging around, Mike Baskerville, who you recruited this year. Like, you've built talent that fits your scheme and depth in the front seven. So, man, I think the front seven is going to be awesome. The secondary, to me, is still a gigantic question mark. Like, Greedy Williams is really good. And then you've got guys that have played at safety. And I think Grant Delpit could be a really good player. But you have absolutely no idea who's going to start opposite Greedy, who's going to play in the slot, who's going to, in nickel and dime packages. And you can try to convince yourself that that's settled and going to be really good, and maybe it will be. But until you see it, there's no way you can say that definitively because none of them have done a thing. And it's really easy if you're scheming against LSU just to say, all right, I'm just not going to throw it at 29, put 3 receivers on the field, and they can't cover everybody. So I guess the question would be either, man, get home on a pass rush, get home, or have some of those other cornerbacks develop. So, and I'm sorry, I just refreshed this page, so I'm going to have to take a second here before I get back to more of your comments. But thank you for the question, Corey. I appreciate it very much. Let's see, Carrie, if Shelvin lives up to the hype, D-line will be awesome. I think D-line's going to be awesome anyway. I think they're going to be really, 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 really good. Brian, glad we aren't talking about. Oh, I recognize your name. Are you the guy? You're the guy who said talk sports yesterday in the huddle. Yeah, Brian, if you come to the right radio hour. So yesterday on the show, Terrio was talking about the D-backs pitcher who pooped his pants and went out and pitched anyway. And Brian put in the huddle talk sports. Hey, Brian, if you, by this point, don't recognize what the right radio hour is, brother, I can't help you. Like, just on Fridays from 4 to 6, then just go away and you'll hopefully come back another day because that's what that is. That's just what that is, dude. Justin, who told Terrio that soul patch would be a good idea. Dude, I've told him before it looks terrible. He grows that little piece of hair right here. And I told him it looks terrible. He doesn't listen to me, though. So, guess my biggest concern is quarterback and running back. Yeah, I mean, I think Burrow. Without Burrow, I think you could have and this is again granted having not seen Joe Burrow take a competitive snap. But if you were really relying on the combination of McMillan, Brennan, Narcisse, hi, Angel. I mean, the possibility of the complete blow-up possibility was there. Clap hands, for Manamana comes home. Manamana plays like this. Clap hands, for Laurel comes home. Laurel plays like this, will you be alone? Oh, go to Big Block. Go see Big Block. Okay, go see Big Block. Clap hands, for Laurel comes home. Laurel plays clap hands for Droopy alone. All right, now go watch Big Block. Go see it. Okay, go see Big Block. That clap hands thing, my mom does that with him, and he is obsessed with it. Okay. Oh yeah. I've given you this example before, but remember 2 years ago that Ole Miss team, they had so many great players go to the draft. They had Tunsil go to the draft. They had Treadwell go to the draft, Kimdichie, and they returned Chad Kelly. They were really good at quarterback, and they had some talent on the field, but they had a brutal schedule. They were just, except for quarterback, they were just inexperienced with a brutal schedule, and they went 5-7. They started with a neutral site against Florida State, and they did Alabama in week 3, and they lost those, and they just stumbled out the gate, and it just caught up to them. Like, that possibility's there for LSU. I'm not saying that I think it's likely. I'm still not saying it's going to happen, but you can look at the schedule and you can say there's between 5 and 7 games on that schedule where you go. I mean, outside of the 3 layups and then the Ole Miss game, there aren't many that you just go scribble the W next to. I mean, I think Arkansas is not going to be a good team this year, but that's also a road game. So my point is, you mentioned quarterback and running back as your concern. I think that possibility would have been there without Burrow, but I think Burrow steadies you at quarterback. It gives you a more veteran guy who you hope doesn't make those mistakes, and by all accounts, he's a film junkie, and that's all great, man. So I think the defense. I think the defense can keep LSU in pretty much every game while the offense figures it out. Like it wasn't a fun year in 2009, but I think this season could look like that. If you remember, defense was really good, it was the first year of John Chavis, and the offense. Jordan Jefferson was a sophomore that year. That was the year Florida came in and they lost like 10-0 or 10-3. Remember that game? 13-3, whatever it was. in Baton Rouge, where after Tebow got the concussion, it could be like a season like that where LSU offensively just isn't very good for a long stretch of the season, but defensively they keep them in and they win a lot of games because of it. Let's see, Nolan Daigle, Jerry. What's up, Nolan? Good morning. Jerry Sullivan is a Pete Jenkins of offense, way too much knowledge. We've talked about Sullivan here on the past. I know we've had fun with Jerry and Terrio with the Werther's originals and all that stuff. But I agree as far as coaching receivers technically, because they got freak shows at receiver, but none of them know how to play the position. So here's hoping he helps with that. Carl, how about Alex Bregman swinging a hot bat, all-star team, hashtag AFR Mojo. You know what, Carl, me and Terrio and I talked about Bregman as an all-star yesterday, and yeah, we went through like the AL third baseman, and if he isn't the fan vote guy, remember the previous year's World Series managers managed the All-Star game. So when AJ Hinch, the Astros manager, will manage the AL team, and when he gets his reserves, his manager selection reserves, he's gonna pick his guy. So I think Bregman's going to the All-Star game. He hit another yak last night. He's at 15 on the season. I mean, I think Bregman's going to the All-Star game this year, and he deserves it. I love it. I love it, man. My cousin Michael is Arkansas. We have family in Arkansas. Who, by the way, Michael, I think Aunt Mary's watching. I saw her scroll up here a bit ago when Drew was walking in here. Is Arkansas ever good? LSU is famous for making them look good all the time because we play to the opponents. That's been a tricky spot for LSU, and I said this for a lot of years under Les, that after the Alabama game, if LSU lost it, they would face plant because they just couldn't emotionally get off the mat. In my mind, the most impressive thing since Ed's been interim head whatever, going back to 2016 when he was the interim head coach. In 2016, after they lost to Alabama, there was the 10-0 game in Baton Rouge, and Jalen Hurts went and scored. The week after that, they went to Arkansas, and that's when Darius Geis ran for like 270 yards. And they absolutely put it on Arkansas in a big way. And for me, that was the most impressive thing, because that was something Les really struggled with. Was after his teams lost that game to Bama, was getting up off the mat and being really competitive again down the stretch, when for all intents and purposes your SEC West goals were gone. So LSU beat Arkansas again this year, and I don't think Arkansas is going to be good in 28. I think Chad Morris is a good hire there, and you give him time to run his system and get his people in there, he can do okay. But I don't think this is that year. Big block. Yeah. You got a little eye booger. Hey, kiddo. Hey, you want to go watch Big Block? Huh. Home. Home. Elevator. Yeah. Okay. See you later. Go watch Big Block. Daddy's almost done. Okay. David Barrett, good morning. I think Arkansas was -3 in that game. I don't know which one you're talking about, man. If you're talking about the one in 2016, but either way, it's woo. I wonder if y'all can still see me. Mine just went to color bars. That's weird. I hope y'all can still see me. Anyway, Darren says, did we end up getting the Stanford running back grad transfer? They got a Stanford cornerback. So there was the running back from Cal, who's a grad transfer, and they passed on him when they added Burrow. So they knew they were getting Terrence Alexander, the cornerback grad transfer, and then they were looking at the running back. But when they realized that they were in the mix for Joe Burrow, that's when they decided not to sign that running back from Cal, who ultimately picked Texas, because they needed the spot for Burrow. So in last signing class, they signed 23 in December, February. So they had 2 spots open. One went to Terrence Alexander, the cornerback, and then they were talking about signing that running back. But I think once they realized they went through spring, it wasn't going well at quarterback, and they could get Burrow, they let that spot open. They didn't get the running back. They let the spot open, ultimately got Joe Burrow. Let's see, any others? David Barrett, good morning. Brian, good morning. Oh, okay. Let's see. Pretty good move passing on, no doubt. They needed it. All right, just scrolling real quick, y'all, to see if we have any more. Ryan Broussard, I keep hearing Burrow is very accurate with 6'6" receivers. That has to be trouble for opposing defenses. We'll see, but so much of it is making the right read. And the problem with the 6'6" receivers you're talking about, Ryan, is none of those guys have been able to get off jams. None of those guys have been able to get separation. That's why you've seen Drake Davis sit the bench and D. Anderson sit the bench. And, like Stephon Sullivan's played a bit, but it's like, when you have those guys that are 6'5", 6'6", that run like deer and they can't get on the field, and guys like Russell Gage are on the field instead, like that's a problem. Russell worked very hard, I'm not saying that, but it's like one guy's 5'10", 185, the other guy's 6'6", 230 and runs like a gazelle, and the 5'10" kid's on the field. Like that's a problem. Like you can tell if the 6'6" guy played like the 5'10" guy, you'd have an All-American. And LSU just has not been able to maximize that position. So that's the hope with Jerry Sullivan, is that he makes those big guys a more technically sound, receivers. Any word on Fuller? Trivia. Fuller. Who are you talking about? Fuller. Give me more info. All right, maybe we're about to wrap this up. I'm trying to scroll back to see if there were any questions I missed, y'all. Sorry if I did. Fulton. Okay, Fulton. Christian Fulton. Okay. We'll keep talking about it whenever people ask, but Christian Fulton is suspended for 2 years by the NCAA. And like that case is closed. So there's no more appeals for Christian Fulton. His attorney is trying to get the NCAA to reopen the case, to consider allowing him to play. But they're by no means obligated to do that. So if you're LSU, you have to proceed with the thought that he's not going to be there. Brent Burgess, looks like we have more raw talent on offense. Will they get it together in time? In time for what? By the way, I don't think they do. They certainly don't at running back, and they have no experience at quarterback, which is a problem. But if they, by the way, I think they got a great chance to beat Miami. I'll probably end up picking them to beat Miami in that opener. LSU's absolutely going to have the crowd advantage. I think LSU's defense is going to be really good. Malik Rozier's back for Miami at quarterback as a fifth-year senior, but he hasn't even won that job definitively. And Miami lost like its two best front seven guys and its best corner to the draft. So Miami lost some guys defensively from that turnover chain defense. And I don't know that they're super settled on offense. But anyway, but if LSU didn't open against Miami and then Auburn in week 3, like if you go back to the 2008 season when LSU was 8-5, if you remember that, they were 7-5, they won the bowl game. That was the year after the championship game. Andrew Hatch was starting at quarterback. Remember, they got all the way up to like number 3 in the country that year before Florida hung 50 on them, if you remember that season. But they opened against Appalachian State, and then they had another layup, and they played Mississippi State, and it was kind of like the first month of the season was a layup, but it gave them time to get their sea legs under them. If this team had that kind of open, I'd feel much better about it, man. But for this team to have to go, they beat Auburn that year too on the road, and Auburn ended up not being great. But if this team had that, I'd feel much better about it than Miami, Southeastern, at Auburn. Like, if the schedule were different, I think it's one of those teams that could end up in November being much better than they are in September. But tough. Douglas, how did Hess sign? He started for Team USA last night. 2 innings, shutout, no-hit baseball. Had a strikeout, was really good. So good to see that. David, basketball question, does Smart start immediately? No. I'll say well, Boy, the backcourt's going to be good, man. They got some depth there, too, now. It's going to be fun. But I'll say that Tremont Waters and Skylar Mays is your starting backcourt. With, Tremont as your primary ball handler and Mays playing off ball. And then Smart is the backup at point guard. But he's going to play a ton. He's going to play a lot. And I could be wrong. Maybe he comes in and he's just better and wins the job. And then Mays comes off the bench. Let's see, Meredith, could you compare the team to 2011 when nobody thought we'd win 7 games? Dude, Meredith. LSU was like preseason number 3 in 2011, bro. They went, because remember at the end of 2010, they played great. They won the bowl game against Texas A&M. They were like preseason number 3 in the country. So no, this is not like 2011 at all. Hey, what? What? Hey, what happened? Hey, what happened? Did you want Big Block? Did your show end? What happened? Hey, can you tell Daddy what happened? You want to see the people? Okay, we're probably about to wrap this up. Elevator. Oh. Hey, do you want to tell everybody hi? Clap hands, clap hands. By the way, I was laughing earlier because my cousin Michael said I'm at the firehouse today. If anybody needs a bathroom break, exit 206. I love you. Hey, listen. Okay, Daddy's going to... Hey, listen. Shh, it's okay. Listen. Hey, Daddy's going to finish his show. And then we'll go watch Big Block. And then we'll go for a walk. Okay? Okay? Do you see Drew on the screen? Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Drew. Yeah, that was Drew. Drew. You see Drew? I love you. Mall. I know. We went to the mall yesterday. You went to the mall and rode the elevator. Mr. Nolan said good morning. Okay. All right, boy. Go watch Big Block. Okay, go see Big Block. I'm coming in there in a minute. Go see Big Block. Yeah. Okay. All right. Merodach, when they played Brian Burgess, good morning. When they played Oregon in 2011, I think that was like a 3 versus 5 matchup. Yeah, so they were expected to be really good. All right, let me see if I can get maybe 1 or 2 more in here. Jordan said, no, we'll wrap it up. Now we've been going like 30 minutes. Jordan said, SI issue had Devin White as a 60-something best player in college football. I being a homer. He's Jordan. I saw that list as well. I don't know who put that together, man. He'll be a top half of round 1 pick, provided he stays healthy. He'll be up for every defensive award. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know who put that list together. I mean, if there's one thing to consider, there's 130 FBS teams. So you're saying that even if let's say they have Greedy as the best player on LSU's team, there's 64 or so Power 5 teams. So you're basically saying that he'd be the best player on 60 whatever teams. It's what it is, man. It's all good. All right, let me wrap this up, y'all. He's coming back in here and he's gonna fuss. So anyway, y'all check out Boudreaux's. Have a great 4th of July weekend. For those of you who are getting out of town, the Bloody Mary mix, the Margarita mix, available at great local retailers. I tell you all the time, support great local companies. One of the things that I keep hearing about the Bloody Mary mix, it's awesome, is like you don't have to go empty out your pantry. It's got like all the ingredients and everything in it, so you just pour it over ice, add your vodka, stir, and you're ready to roll. And the Margarita mix is great too, so y'all have a great day. Hey. Daddy's coming. Look, let me end my show. Okay.